I want snow, 'cause I got nowhere to go. And if you want a little snow, make sure you like this video. All right, guys, it's time to talk about the weather, okay? We got a lot to talk about today. First things first, we got to talk about storm number one, the one that's impacting us right now. And we're going to kind of take a little recap, a look at what happened last night. We had a severe weather outbreak in Tennessee and Mississippi and Alabama last night. We had a pretty destructive tornado go through, and I want to take a look at that, what happened there. Then we're going to shift our focus to the Northeast, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Boston. You guys are getting ready to get snow, and we got to talk about that. Then we got to talk about storm number two, which is going to affect a pretty big area from Missouri all the way to North Carolina and everyone in between. And then we got to talk about storm number three. That's right. The models are starting to agree that around the 30th of January, we're going to have another big storm move through. So I've labeled it storm number three. We're locking it in. And then after that, we're going to look at some long-term medium range forecasting, la land stuff, just to see what else is out there. If you like weather content, if you like hanging out, talking about the weather, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We're going to be tracking every storm right here in this spring. I'm actually going to go drive out and chase tornadoes and post videos on here. So it's going to be cool. And without further ado, let's start talking about the weather. Alrighty, guys, here's a radar view from Tennessee last night around 5:27 p.m. Eastern time. As you can see, there's a pretty big cluster of severe thunderstorms moving just east of Memphis here. As you can see, over here is Memphis. And it really doesn't look like a lot on the reflectivity here, but there's actually possibly there was a tornado on the ground during this period. Because if we look at the super res velocity, check this out. You can really see some rotation here just north of Collierville and Rossville. There was definitely some rotation there, and I do believe we got a confirmed report of a tornado. I'm not 100% sure, but people were freaking out on Twitter last night because the National Weather Service in Memphis did not issue a warning for this. In fact, they said there was hardly any rotation at all. And then if we take a closer look at the correlation coefficient, you can see right there what that signals is possibly debris in the atmosphere. This was on their radar. This was something that the National Weather Service could see themselves, and they did not issue a warning. So that happened last night. Here's a video for Johnson_WX on Twitter that really summed up the frustration from the situation. Copyright. I don't know. Can I play it? No, there's barely any rotation. I wonder if they saw this. I wonder if they've seen this. Featuring no rotation whatsoever. Oh my God. Oh, they deleted their tweet. Somebody got fired, I bet. Now, another place that got a pretty big tornado last night, and it was properly warned, was just north of Birmingham, near the town of Fultondale. Actually, I think I went right through the town of Fultondale. Here's the radar reflectivity from last night, looking at that. Once again, it doesn't look that impressive. This doesn't look like something, like with a hook echo. I mean, there is a little bit there, but like it doesn't look like, if you were just to look at the reflectivity here, you wouldn't expect there to be a tornado. However, as we hop over to velocity here, here's that couplet. Here's that really close together greens and reds, and the velocity is really high. There's a lot of inflow on this one. And this was a very damaging and deadly tornado, actually. Literally just north of Birmingham there, just really tight couplet right there. And if we look at the correlation coefficient, keep your eyes just north of Fultondale there, that doesn't look that different than the storm we saw near Memphis. And this was definitely a very big tornado. All right, let's check out some more stuff from Twitter on that tornado. Look at the damage done. This is Fultondale, Alabama. We saw that. Just look at that. This looks like EF3 damage to me, maybe EF4. And oh my God, that's devastating. Here's some aerial shots. And then here's an actual video that somebody got from Birmingham facing north, I believe, around 10:40 p.m. last night, actually showing the tornado go through. You can see power flashes, lightning there, and then if we scroll up just a little bit, somebody outlined where the tornado actually was. So this is a large wedge tornado on a day where widespread damaging tornadoes were not expected. Okay, now taking a look at our storm today, we're not seeing any tornadoes out there, thankfully. We do have a little line of showers and thunderstorms moving through Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina, and that is connected to our storm up here bringing snow to Pennsylvania, New York, and now it's moving into Connecticut and Massachusetts. We've had some reports of really heavy sleet near Williamsport, State College, Pennsylvania, and it's snowing right now in New York City. And this is really, I think it's going to intensify a little bit and put down a decent little amount of snow for you guys in Hartford, Connecticut, Waterbury, Springfield, Massachusetts, Providence, Rhode Island, all the way over to Boston, and even Cape Cod. Let's look into the future and see what it's going to do as we move on through the evening tonight on the weather models. All right, here we go. This is the HRRR, the model. I use it as a simulated radar. We're going to see what the rest of the storm's going to look like. And I don't know what this is. It just popped up. I think I'm just flustered because National Weather Service in Memphis didn't issue a tornado warning last night. Let's calm down, let's simmer down a little bit and talk about some snow. Okay, here's what everything looks like right about now. We've got snow in New York City, northern New Jersey. It's moving into Connecticut and Massachusetts. We've got that sleet and freezing rain over here in State College, Pennsylvania, points north. And as we move into closer to 2 o'clock, it's gonna keep creeping east. Now all of Connecticut is covered in snow. It's moving into Rhode Island now. Long Island, New York, you guys are gonna get some snow. It's not gonna be much and it's not gonna stick around for long, but it is a little bit. And then that's gonna move further into Massachusetts, Boston. You should start seeing your first flakes around 5 p.m. today. And we've still got pretty heavy bands of snow up here in northern New York, upstate New York, and it's moving into Vermont and New Hampshire now. And then right as it comes over the coast here, if you're near the coast in Rhode Island, Cape Cod, all the way up through Boston, this model is suggesting that we're going to have a little bit of backflow here from our warm Atlantic Ocean, and it might try to intensify a little bit. You might get what similar to what you would see next to a lake. You could see some ocean enhanced snow if you're really close to the coast there. But keep in mind, if you're further south down here, the temperatures are going to be really close to freezing. In fact, they'll probably be a little bit above freezing for a lot of you guys, so a lot of this may not stick, but you guys are going to see some heavy snow as it moves through, and that lingers through all the way into 2:30 a.m. tonight. You're still getting flurries, especially on the coast out here. All right, how much snow are we going to get, Ryan? Well, if you ask me, Boston, I'm still saying you're going to get 3 or 4 inches. Now, over here in western Massachusetts, where the hills of Massachusetts are, you can expect 4 or 5 inches of snow. I would say widespread 3-inch amounts with isolated 4 and 5 peppered in here and there. There's still 5 to 6 inches of snow to fall for middle upstate New York from Syracuse to Albany. Rhode Island, Connecticut, 1 to 2 inches, very easy. There'll be a couple of you guys that'll squeeze out 3 inches. And yeah, this is what storm number 1's gonna wrap up with. It's nothing crazy, it's nothing off the charts, but I know there's some guys down here that will be happy with the little snow that you've got. Now it's time to talk about storm number 2. So the NAM model is really not impressed with storm number 2. Here we are looking at 1 a.m. January 27th. That's tonight, this morning, 1 a.m. We do have it getting together over here in Kansas and Missouri. It's going to quickly shoot across Missouri. St. Louis is going to see some snow around 10 a.m. tomorrow. And we've got abundant moisture over here in the Carolinas, Georgia. And if we could get that to connect with this cold air and with this disturbance over here, this would have been a much bigger storm. But they do stay disconnected for the most part. A little bit of convergence that tries to happen around Kentucky, around Interstate 64 north of Hazard in Kentucky. Looks like a pretty good 1 to 3 inch, snow system for you guys. And then that really skirts off to the south and east. We've got some decent heavy snow bands from Huntington, West Virginia, down to Pikeville, Kentucky, all the way down into Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Very quick though, as it moves off. The NAM doesn't show much snow at all for the Carolinas or Virginia, and it kind of just pushes it on out here. How much snow can you see? Once again, if you're in eastern and northern Kentucky up here, north of Hazard, 1 to 3 inches, very good bet. Looks like Paintsville, Kentucky could be closer to that 3-inch mark. All of West Virginia can see a trace to 1 inch of snow, and the NAM does throw down a trace of snow in a couple random areas in North Carolina here, but the GFS sees it completely differently. It's crazy to me. We're this close to the storm and the models disagree so much. All right, let's put this into motion. 7 p.m. tomorrow, we've got a decently heavy snow band in central Tennessee, just east of Nashville. It's going to be snowing hard in Bowling Green, Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky, Somerset, and then that's going to move into eastern Kentucky, southern West Virginia, and then look here, Virginia, North Carolina's getting in on some snow 1 a.m. tomorrow, and then the GFS shows it coming down very nicely near Raleigh, and it goes all the way to the coast. Wilmington's going to see some snow, brings down some cold air advection behind it. But look at that, the GFS shows, it's nothing crazy, but this is a significant snowstorm, especially for Virginia and North Carolina. Oh boy, let's see them snow totals. Wow. Right here near Blacksburg, Virginia, 10 inches showing up, I don't think that's going to happen. But if the GFS is right, then there will be a widespread area of 3 to 6 inches from western Kentucky all the way to the coast of North Carolina. Okay, now we're looking at storm number 3. This one looks pretty exciting for a lot of people, especially in New England and some of the mid-Atlantic regions. Let's put this into motion. Here's our first storm that we're dealing with right now. That's going to get the heck out of here. Watch this right here on January 29th. It slides all the way through the Rockies, causing snow for Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado. It meets up with some moisture from the Gulf of Mexico right here. And then we've got a low pressure system, 996 millibars, running through Oklahoma, causing our next storm. Heavy snow breaks out on Sunday, the 31st of January, from Iowa all the way down to close to Evansville, Indiana. Out ahead of this storm, we've got a pretty thick band of snow from Kentucky all the way back into Iowa. And then let's move this forward a little bit. That snow gets eaten up by warm air out here and it starts to dissipate, but that energy is transferred out to the Atlantic Ocean and it starts to deepen again around February 1st. This is where this gets interesting. We've got a low pressure system just off the coast of Virginia Beach and a lot of cold air up here. What happens with it as we push it forward? Here we go. We've got a decent storm from Maryland now, New Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania. A lot of moisture off the lakes still causing snow for the Ohio Valley over here. And that really starts to deepen, 993 millibars, 994. On February 2nd, we've got a really decent shot of snow for Maryland, New Jersey, all the way up into Long Island here. And then that hangs out for a little bit, moves north. Long Island and Rhode Island and the Cape Cod's gonna get a little bit of snow, and then that keeps moving out. That's a nor'easter. It's not a very strong nor'easter or widespread one, but that is very interesting to see. And let's take a look at snow totals for that. Wow. Wow, look at that. Wow. So you can see it starts out over here, drops a lot of snow. We're talking about over a foot of snow for a lot of northern Illinois, all the way over to Chicago, southern Wisconsin, a lot of Iowa. Iowa's just getting eaten up by snow this year. They are in Snowtown, baby. And then it really just kind of glows up right here in Maryland, near Hagerstown, Maryland. I think that's showing close to 24 inches of snow. Southeastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York. This would make a lot of people happy. This would be a very significant mid-Atlantic and northeast snowstorm. Just for fun, I'm going to zoom in on the northeast here for you guys, you snow lovers. Go ahead, take your screenshot, take your picture, print it out, hug it at night when you go to sleep. I know you want to see this happen. The likelihood is low, but we're going to keep an eye on it. If it still shows this tomorrow and the next day, we might get a little excited. Let's see if the Canadian has our storm, eh? Here we are, January 30th. We've got our storm forming in the panhandle of Oklahoma. It moves east, and once again, this looks very similar to what we just saw, which is good. The models are in agreement with the beginning stages of the storm. We've got heavy snow in Illinois, Indiana, Iowa. Let's see what happens with it. It does get phased out here, but we got a pretty significant ice storm going on in North Carolina in the mountains down here, and it's going to try to pull up some Atlantic moisture. And do we get a nor'easter out of this? This one doesn't look as impressive. It's still a pretty impressive storm for the Midwest up here, but whenever that transfer of energy happens, it doesn't happen as quickly and it doesn't happen as efficiently. As you can see, we've got a 1004 millibar low pressure system off the coast of Delaware, bringing some, moderate snow showers to the northeast, but nothing crazy. But it does have a pretty good shot of cold air coming down behind it, all the way down into Georgia there. That's what that storm looks like on the Canadian. Let's look at snow totals. Okay, it looks like the Midwest into the Ohio Valley up here near Chicago. That's the winners here. The mountains over here in Virginia and West Virginia looks like over a foot of snow is possible. This is a nor'easter, but it only affects a small area. Cape Cod, a foot of snow. Rhode Island, there's your snow. Looks like Connecticut gets a decent amount of snow. This would make some people in Boston happy, but it's not that widespread. What you really want to see is this whole area right here just covered in that pink. That would be perfect, wouldn't it? And we'll add a little bit down here for you guys too. All right, let's see what the GFS shows. Here's our storm, January 30th. What does she do with it? Okay, this one looks a little bit more north. We got a 998 millibar low pressure system in Illinois, southern Illinois, on the 31st of January, bringing that heavy snow. It's concentrated more to the north and east. It's over Lake Michigan there. Looks like southwest Michigan would get some pretty good snow out of this scenario. And then here's that transfer. It goes from here to here. We got a 997 out in the Atlantic Ocean, and we do have a little bit of a nor'easter, but it affects these areas up here. We're talking about Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, very southern and eastern New York. They're the winners here, and wow, that really just kind of hangs out there. Watch that. It's dancing, son. Look at that low pressure system dance, buddy. It ain't going nowhere. And then that finally moves out by the 3rd of February, and we've got our good shot of cold air that comes in afterwards. boards. Oh yeah, now this is what I like to see. So really good storm for New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, even Pennsylvania out here. A lot of you guys seeing over 8 inches snow with this scenario. And then even over here into Ohio, a big widespread swath of over 6 inches. Southern and southwestern Michigan get a lot of snow from this scenario. Chicago, really close to the lake there, you know, a lot of snow here too. But we're still 180 hours out or so. So there's a lot of time for this to change. But all the models are showing this storm, and they're showing it pretty similarly right now. We will be keeping an eye on this, okay? All right, let's go back a little bit on the GFS, and now we're gonna talk about long range. We're gonna go all the way out on the GFS and just see what else is out there. There's that storm number 3 that's gonna go through. Watch up here, we've got a lot of moisture coming in to Washington and Oregon. That's our Pacific jet. Let's see if we can get another wave to come through and bring us our next storm. Wow, there's a pretty big one. It gets wrung out over the mountains, but it does reorganize right here in the central plains. Nebraska there, that's a pretty big storm. You can see those isobars, you know, really stacking up close to each other. Low pressure system on February 4th, so this is right after our 3rd storm. This might be storm number 4. This would be a severe weather scenario for the Midwest in February. That's not unheard of. We have seen major severe weather outbreaks in this area in February, and then that keeps moving on, and we've got a little bit of back building, another little LP trying to form up down here in Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee. A little shot of snow maybe. Oh, that's interesting. I'm over here just looking at these maps like, oh, wow. How did this happen to us, guys? How did we get this interested in moving water in the air? But anyways, check this out. We've got snow all the way down into Texas and Louisiana here. This is way far out. This is not going to happen this way, but this does look like a situation where we've got just a ton of cold air pulled down all the way into Mexico. If there was a little low pressure system that tried to form here, if it phased with the jet stream and then cut north, this would be a very big storm, something we've got to watch for. And then that moves up into New England there, and another storm forms. Oh, that's another one. That looks oddly similar to our storm that gave big snow to Texas earlier. I think it was like 3 weeks or a month ago now. You've got some Gulf moisture meeting up with a disturbance from the Rocky Mountains, and then that tries to, you know, these storms here are the ones you really got to watch, because if that can go down into the Gulf, deepen, and then turn up like this, those are the storms you still know about today. The blizzard of insert year here, a lot of times they start off down here and they move up like this. How much snow can we see over the next couple weeks, Ryan? Well, here you go. Over here in California, if you literally want to get buried in snow, go to California. Look at this, 70 inches of snow. Yes, sir. Pretty big donut hole here on the GFS for the central part of the United States. I know this area especially is dying for snow. You guys are way below average for this time of year for how much snow you would normally receive. A little bit of snow coming to Texas and Oklahoma, according to the GFS. And then up here in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, a lot of snow is expected as those systems really try to cut north, according to the GFS. A really broad area here that could expect to see a lot of snow if this pattern verifies. Obviously the mountains down here and into northern Virginia and Maryland, you guys can see over a foot, and this is multiple storms that we're talking about here, so don't get too excited. But yeah, we are definitely in the active pattern, and it's looking good, guys. All right, that's all the weather talk I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you slap a like on it if you liked it, okay? Also, share these videos around with your friends and family. I'm trying to grow this channel. It's growing really good, but I know we can do better. Share it on Twitter, Facebook, MySpace. Our goal is 20K subs by, what is today? 20K by February 15th. I think we can do it. And that's all I got for you. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.